A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mauni and I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. Dear friends, have you seen this symbol before? I'm sure you might have in some Chinese films, isn't it? And the name of this symbol is Tai Chi. Right now, the thing is, the white portion here represents the good thing in life, or you can say the brighter thing, not only in life but in anything. You can apply it to your career, you can apply it to your studies, you can apply it with your friends and other things as well. And of course, this black portion here represents the dark or the bleak side of life or any other thing. But the good thing about this, or the thing that we can learn from this Tai Chi, is that every good side too has a bit of dark side, and every dark side has a bit of good side too. So it all depends, right? It all depends how we take our life, and you can do this exercise. Do give it a go. Do try to find the good things out of this negative things, and do try to find out negative or bad things in good things as well. And you will find that it all depends on us how we see the things or take the things in our life. With this, dear friends, I would like to introduce all of you to our pen drive and tablet courses for different exams like UPSC, SSC, Bank, then government exams of national and state level. StudyIQ offers different pen drive and tablet courses. They are designed by the best faculties of our country. And the things that you are going to get in this pen drive and tablet courses is going to be of top of the range quality. If you want to know more about it, just check out StudyIQ.com. Over here you will get chat support, as well as if you have any queries, then you can give us a call on the number that you can see on your screen. Dear friends, the first item that we have is pertaining to a news item that we have discussed yesterday, and it is about criminalization of politics. We know it very well that at present as well we have too many MPs and MLAs, right, who are in fact representative of people, and this is a part of your syllabus too. For those students who are preparing for civil services conducted by UPSC, then I'm sure you know that this is part of your syllabus, representative of People's Act. Now the thing is, dear friends, you can imagine easily that if people who are supposed to help our country to become a more you can say a democratic, or you can say more mature democracy, right? If these are the peoples who are having a sort of connection with some of the heinous crimes like rape and murder and other things, then you can understand that we cannot expect any sort of good things from them, isn't it? The other thing is that if we talk about Supreme Court's order, then it has directed the central government, that is the government of India. It has said that do start the process or do frame a scheme, right, of establishing special courts. This special courts will exclusively deal with politicians, right, or the cases that are going against politicians. This is a good thing, and it will help us to clean our politics, right? Nearly, or you can say majority of them are having cases against them, and some of them are having very serious cases, as I told you. Now, if we go through the steps taken by the Supreme Court in recent past, then we find that in 2013 it came out with, or it ordered this immediate disqualification, and you can understand this better by the case of Shashikala, right? AIADMK's Shashikala. She is in jail at present, right? She is a associate of late Jayalalitha. I'm sure you know this thing, that she is in jail, and this thing applies to her. This is one of the best example that as soon as she was awarded a sentence, or she was awarded a sort of, you can say, a prison, right? At the same time, her membership of Legislative Assembly got terminated automatically, and that happens, right, that happens with every other person, every other politician, that if a MLA or MP, right, if they are awarded any sort of sentence from the court, then their their seat is automatically rejected or gets cancelled. The other thing is, in 2014 it directed completion of trials involving elected representative within a year. This was again a good move. It was appreciated by many different stakeholders, but the thing is that even today as well we see that there are repetitive adjournments, and we haven't been able to have a massive, or you can say that we are not able to finish these cases within a year. So this is a thing in which we have to work. The Supreme Court and the government has to focus on this thing as well, and now it has came out with this thing called a time bound and exclusive judicial mechanism, which is not bad at all, because in other areas as well, right, in other offenses or in different types of offenses, we do have special courts, like when it comes to corruption, terrorism, then sexual offenses and other things too. Now the thing is, dear friends, this special court thing is not bad for time being, because we know that if we don't remove this tainted and criminals from our democracy, or you can say representing us in the temples of our democracy, then for time being it is going to be detrimental. It has been detrimental as well, and it is not going to be good for every one of us, for the country at large. So for now on, it is good thing that we take this route of special courts. But the long-term solution is not this. The long-term solution is that the whole justice delivery system, right, the whole justice delivery system needs an overhaul, right? We have to make it more effective and efficient, right? It should the pace of cases or the whole process should be fast enough, right? It should be quick, but at the same time it also has to maintain that the quality is not affected. So we have to find a right balance, and it is not just the courts who can do this thing. Everyone has to work with each other as a team, and I'll give you a small example. Say for example, if we talk about criminals and crime related cases, then we know that the whole process will start from police, right? So police is part of criminal justice delivery system. Then you have advocates, their role comes next. Once the police are done with everything, investigation and things like that, once they submit their report, then it is the advocate and the judiciary or the judges. They are going to play an important role here. And at the same time, we need the support of government as well, and from the people too, because if the government is providing enough infrastructure and other facilities through which we can use more digitization and things like that, then it is going to improve this efficiency and effectiveness. At the same time, we have to keep our people should also take active part, and they should report if there is any sort of indulgence of crime and or corruption or anything that politicians are doing, etc. So in general, we can say that a team working environment of different stakeholders will help us to sort this issue out. The second item is pertaining to a terror attack that took place a day before yesterday in New York, and it is very sad, right? My prayers goes out to all the people who are affected by this ghastly and cowardly attack of terror. Now the thing is, dear friend, the way we are saying this sort of things are conducted, I'm sure you are aware about a film, right? A film, an Indian film. It's about a soldier, right, who is on a holiday, and in that film we see a concept of a sleeper cell, right? What this sleeper cell is all about, because what they do is they are just like you and I, right? They are working, they are going to college or working or doing job, business, etc., but they are inactive, right? Or you can say in a hibernate mode, right? They are terrorists, and they are living in society, but as soon as they get orders from their handlers, they will become active. So this sort of sleeper cells are doing all these sort of things, and here you also find a word called lone wolf, right? You can understand wolf basically means it is a predator animal, and lone means the sole, right? Only one person doing or conducting this attack, and this has been observed in London. We have seen this happening in Berlin and Barcelona and USA and Nice of France and other places as well. So this is a very dangerous thing, and I would like to provide you with a word. I believe this will help you a lot in your interview and your answer writing, as well as even on your understanding level as well. It will help you a lot. See what happens, or what we used to do is that if you find, say for example, if American companies, generally speaking, if they find that by setting up call centers in India, you can give or you can deliver the same sort of quality services in a much cheaper rate, then we should do it. So that's what they used to do. This is called business process outsourcing, right? If someone can do your job at reasonable price, and if they can do it better than you, if they are expert in this thing, then it is better that you give this thing to them. Same thing is happening with here with terrorists, and we can call it terror process outsourcing, right? What they are doing is they are outsourcing this whole terror process, and they don't have to invest too much here as well. What they do is, rather than sending someone from Syria or other parts of the world to USA, they need to get all this visa and things like that. And finally, if they reach there, they don't know anyone, etc., etc. So it is better to recruit someone from the USA itself, and that's what they are doing. And the way they are using weapons, right? If they are not able to get guns and things like that, then what they are doing is they are using vehicles. Now you can understand that it is next to impossible, right, when it comes to detecting this sort of sleeper cells. And MI6, which is a spy agency of this James Bond agency, right? A spy. MI6 is basically British Secret Service, and they have said that even there people are saying that we don't have enough resources, we don't have enough tools, we don't have enough manpower to keep an eye on this many suspected people. Thousands and thousands of people are under suspicion, and it is becoming a very it is a big challenge, right? And even if you go through United Nations General Assembly, then you will always find terrorism is mentioned there. If you observe or if you go through the bilateral relationship of India and USA, India and France, India and UK, India and other countries, Japan, and if you see the discussion between two parties like India and Africa, India and European Union, then as well you will find that terror is always there. This is one of the biggest threat through which we are going through, and the solution is not what Mr. Trump is suggesting, right? He's saying that we are going to close down the border and things like that. No, that this sort of things are not going to work. As you can see that it is not the people who are coming in a bot, right? They are not coming to your country and then they are attacking it. These are the people who are living there for a long time. So we have to see what sort of things, or we have to look for a sort of political solution. When I say political solution, we have to find the root cause why someone from our own society is conducting this sort of things. Are there other people who are discriminating them and pushing them to such an extent that they become a sort of enemy of human beings? The other thing is that, of course, we have to increase security. And the third thing that I would like to say is that post-attack polarization. What happens is once attack is conducted, then generally speaking, this there will be a sort of stereotype, and if this sort of statements are coming, then there will be, of course, be it will add fuel to the fire, right? Stereotype of say for example, there is a community XYZ, these are the people who are doing all these sort of things, and then people will start hating them and not speaking with them and ostracizing them, and finally you will push this youngsters, these handlers will, or these recruiters will tell them, look, this is the way they are treating you, so it's better that you shake hand with us, and it becomes easier for this terrorist organization. Moving on to another item, this is about Pakistan, and the writer as well is from Pakistan. What he's saying that India is not basically, we don't know the transition of democracy, and that is right as well, because since our independence we have never been taken over by army, isn't it? We have always, and this is a sort of success as well, you can say, of our country, of the people of our country, of our constitution and of our whole system. There would be many problems, right? Again, I would like to recall all of you, or draw your attention to Tai Chi, right? We may have many problems in our country, no doubt, and they are never going to end as well, because it is not something, when I say never going to end, I'm not saying that out of pessimism, right? I'm saying out of optimism. The thing is that if you see Denmark and other countries that are considered the best countries to live in the world, then as well you find that there are some sort of problems, right? Because we are dealing with human beings, so there will be some sort of problems. But the thing is, are we creating an environment in which we are ready to take challenges and we are ready to sort out problems? If we are heading in that direction, then we are in a right direction, you can say. So that's what I mean when I say they are never going to end. And when we talk about, or when we go through this article, what this writer is talking about is the process of democratization. Now there have been several reversals and counter coups and revolutions and springs, right? We have seen this sort of things in different part of world. If you see Pakistan, right, if we take the case of Pakistan, then you know that after independence from British, at that point of time it was a one India. Then we had like two countries out of it. One is India, and then you have Pakistan in two pieces, one East Pakistan and the other one West Pakistan, the Pakistan that we know today. So anyways, this Pakistan country was run by earlier on by democracy, right? But later on, for the longest period of time, this army took over, right? And at present as well, it is believed, and it is right as well, that it is the army of Pakistan that is running the whole show. These politicians are just their puppets, right? They cannot do anything in front of these army generals. And when it comes to geopolitics as well, it is the army who is designing all the policy and things like that, etc. So you can say that this Pakistan, on books it is a democratic country, but in reality it is not. The same thing applies to this Myanmar as well. For the longest period of time, Myanmar was under army rule, or you can say military rule. And recently Aung San Suu Kyi's party came into power, but at present you can say that still we can see that army is bit stronger than elected government. And there are many other cases as well. There are some Latin American countries, right, South American countries like Brazil, Venezuela. They used to have something similar over there. They are democracy now, but they are run by their politicians are going through some sort of troubles. And this Venezuela, if we talk about it, then it is run by a one-man show, you can say. So these are the things. You cannot call them completely democratic. Some of them are centralized or having centralized power, and some of them are run by this army. Same thing applies to Egypt and other parts of the world. And if you see the whole situation of Arab world, we know that when we talk about Arab world, the first thing that pops up in our mind, or one of the first thing, is that their kings and their luxurious life and things like that. Now even in these countries as well, we can see particularly after the 2011's Arab Spring, right, or you can say Arab uprising or revolution, we have seen that there are many people who are asking for their legitimate right, or they also are, these countries are also heading slowly towards democracy, right? We can see that there are many freedoms given in the city of Dubai. Then you have Saudi Arabia, which in which you have a very strange law if you see from Indian perspective. But now their ladies as well, the women of Saudi Arabia, will be able to drive. Till now they were not allowed to drive, but now on recently the king has said that let them drive. So we are seeing this sort of changes. And if you see the whole world, if you go back 50 or 100 years, then you will find that very few countries were having democracy. But nowadays we are saying that most of the countries are embracing democracy, and they would be in different at different phases, right? Some of the countries could have reached here, some of them could be here, some of them have just started or just got translated from army or centralized or dictator rule to democracy. So it all depends, but end of the day we all are going to, the whole world is going to be democracy because of the way communication and transportation is spreading around the world. And for India it is very important that Pakistan becomes a strong and mature democracy, because we know that till this army is ruling the show here or running the show here in Pakistan, then we are always going to see trouble in our country. Moving on to another item, and this is about Naga peace process. Now, dear friends, recently India, the government of India appointed Mr. Dineshwar Sharma as special representative of Jammu and Kashmir. In the same way, the central government has appointed R.N. Ravi. He is here for a long period of time, and he is, so far we can say that he has been successful in dealing with this Naga peace talks. And it was in 2011 when both the government of India and NSCN is a party representing this Naga people, but I must say that you cannot say that they are completely, or this is the only party, or this is the sole group that is in fact representing all the stakeholders of Nagaland. Not at all. No, there are other people as well, but let me tell you that this framework agreement, right, was signed in 2015 between Government of India and NSCN, and for the longest period of time this Naga people have been demanding for their sovereignty, and it is their democratic right as well. The thing is, dear friends, what happens in any democracy, right, or it's not that it's only in India that you find different tribes and different way of living and things like that. You find this thing in other countries as well. The only thing is that we have more flowers in our garden, right? We have more and different flowers in our garden. See, every community, every tribe, they have their own culture, they have their own tradition, they have their own language, and it is their right, it is part of their identity. Everyone loves their own identity, isn't it? We love to speak out that we are Indian, we are patriotic about it, we take pride in being Indian and things like that. Now imagine if someone is saying something wrong about India, right? Without thinking, it will trigger you to shout out, or you will take a stand, isn't it? Because we know that the independence that we are enjoying has been achieved by paying a huge amount of price, isn't it? Many people have lost their life. Many leaders have spent huge or a longest period of their life in jail, only to see that we, the next generation, is breathing free air. So we know the importance of this thing, and we should create an environment in our country as well that every community should feel like this way. If majority way of living is different from this minorities, or you can say this small groups, right, small communities, then we should never try to take over or convert them, or we should never force them or ask them as well to adopt the majority way of life. Not at all, because I'll help you with and you would be able to understand this thing with this example, that if you go in a garden, right, or in a city, imagine if the whole city, if you go anywhere, the only flower that you see is rose. For a couple of days you will enjoy this thing if you are coming from a place where you rarely find rose, but after a couple of days or years you will get fed up of this thing and you will start ignoring this thing as well, isn't it? But a garden will become more beautiful, that's in my opinion, if you have all different sorts of flowers, right? If you have sunflower, if you have jasmine, if you have this rose and other flowers and of different color, right? You can take example of this thing here, right? You can see people in different colors. So that's what our country is all about, and this is what it should be as well, and that's what our constitution is also talking about. So we have to ensure the government of India and all the people, all the stakeholders have to keep this thing in mind, that the more discussion they do, and if they are sensitive enough regarding each other's issues and problem, then this is not something that we cannot solve. Of course we can sort this thing out. Moving on to another item, and this is about Jugadu system or Jugaad system, right? I'm sure Jugaad basically means fixing things, right? Ad hoc solutions of anything, and that's what has been going on in our country for the longest period of time, and we are so used to with this thing, right? We are seriously very used to with this thing, and this can be observed in different parts. See Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, right? The government of India is I'm not promoting any political party, I'm talking about government of India, right? Not a political party. So Government of India is spending huge amount of money after creating awareness, and after it is spending money for collection of waste and things like that. Then as well, why do we find plastic wrappers and things like that on the street and on the different parts of our country? The thing is, it is not the government who can sort this problem out, right? It is the people and the society. We have to ensure that we take our own responsibility. We have to be aware enough, right? We have to create awareness in our society so that we can get rid of this Jugadu system. What is happening in our country, and this particular editorial is talking about Bengaluru and its road, and it is talking about the potholes and the reason why we get these potholes, or why no one is paying any sort of serious attention to this pothole, because we have accepted this thing, right? We have adopted ourselves with this potholes. We are immune to this problem. We are unaware about this problem, and we believe that there can never be any sort of solution of this pothole problem, but that is not right at all. The thing is, dear friends, a couple of weeks ago I was reading an article, and I was shocked to know that every year nearly 10,000 people in our country die in road accident because of potholes. The overall figure is much higher when you talk about accidents in our country, but this is just potholes. Can you imagine you are going on a motorcycle and you miss this pothole, and suddenly you fall down from your bike and you get a head injury and you die. So that's what is happening in our country, and 10,000 families are getting ruined because of these potholes. The other thing is that we know that many people do make huge amount of money in road construction because the quality of stuff and the way things are designed is in such a way that it is the betterment of the people who are involved in decision making, right? Clear corruption you can see here. So we have to sort this thing out. We have to make ourselves more aware, and this is the only way we can do it, or else the things will be as it is. This Jugadu system, ad hoc way of doing things, will continue in our country, and we will keep on facing this sort of problems, and many of our friends and family members, we will lose them because of this Jugadu system. Moving on to this item, and this is about sexual harassment. A couple of days ago, since last 2 or 3 days, we are talking about this thing, and it is about pertaining to this Me Too campaign, and about sexual abuse in universities and academic environment. So you have 3 views here, and this sort of articles you find once a week. Some sort of topic is always taken, and you find 3 views. One is a yes view, that yes, we should name and shame this sexual harassers, or this people who are doing this thing. And then you have a no campaign, who are saying that no, we should not, we should follow rules and regulation. And then you have a third one who is saying that yes as well and no as well. Basically what they are saying is that if you do this, then yes. If you are doing this, then no. So what I have done is I have taken best bits and pieces for your understanding, which will help you a lot, or else this sort of 3 different views are quite confusing. So for best thing that we can do is take what is important for us. Now this sort of questions you don't find in your examination, but that does not mean that we should not go through them. Many items work as a sort of grooming thing, right? If you understand this and that thing, then it will help you with other thing as well in your answer writing and essay and things like that. So dear friends, as you can see here, the figure tells us that only 3% of vice chancellor posts and 1.5% of professor position in India are occupied by women. The other thing is that there is no comprehensive data when it comes to sexual harassment in university. So if we don't have data, we cannot find a solution. The other thing what this yes campaign is saying, the one which you can see in the blue, they are saying that for the longest period of time we are following this thing, that if you are not proven guilty, then you are innocent. But what happens is after 10 years you find that this person was involved in this thing, but between this 10 years he particularly most of the time he, right, because most of the time when it comes to this sexual cases, it is always or most of the time men doing this sort of misbehavior with the lady. So I'm saying that most of the time. or he. So this man would be enjoying this 10 years, right? He would be living a free life, even though he has done something wrong. So they are saying that they should be eventually, after 10 years, if they are convicted, then it's no point. The other thing is, here you can see this no campaign in red. They are saying that this is something similar that is done by the Khap Panchayat and Kangaroo courts. We know how they take decision, isn't it? Khap Panchayat, and I'll give you one example. Say for example A and B. Now A is a boy from lower caste. This sort of things do take place in countryside, many parts of our country. And if B is a girl from higher caste, and if A and B are in love, and if they marry or if they have any sort of relation, then the Khap Panchayat will give out a decision that the brother of B will rape sister of A. So can you imagine this sort of scenario? Horrific, or one of the most ugliest thing you can ever hear. So this sort of things, decisions are taken by this Khap Panchayat and other kangaroo courts. So they are saying that this is something similar. We are just doing it digitally, so there is no point of naming and shaming until they are proven. And here the third view is, of course, that you have to make sure this justice delivery system and things like that are more fast, and you provide all the support and things like that, and only then you should name it if you are 100% sure, if you have evidence and things like that. And that's all the three views here. Now, dear friends, moving on to news item. The first one is pertaining to a blast that took place yesterday in Uttar Pradesh. And again, I would remind you this. I'd like to remind you this standard operating procedure, right? Whether we are following it or not, we have to see it. With this incident, you can also observe how administration takes care of this sort of, or how it deals with this sort of incidents. And of course, one more thing is that we hardly follow this health and safety. This is, as by the way, health and safety rules. We have it, but we don't follow it in our country. Then this one is pertaining to a long war that has been going on for the longest period of time between Lieutenant Governor of Delhi and Chief Minister of Delhi. Now, you know that Delhi is a union territory, and we have two such union territory where you have both this thing. One is Delhi and the second one is Puducherry, right, where you have Chief Minister as well as Lieutenant Governor. So the Supreme Court has so far said that a Lieutenant Governor should not do those sort of things that will keep the whole machinery of the state in chokehold. And it has also said that, as per the Constitution, Lieutenant Governor is having right that he or she can take action. So now again, for next couple of days, this thing will go on. So we will hear about this thing in near future. So let's not take any sort of decision from now. China has again played as usual. You can say multiple games, or you can say dirty games, right? At one point of time in BRICS meeting that took place in China, right, China said that Pakistan is supporting and it should not support terrorism and things like that. But at United Nations Security Council meeting, it has supported, or it has you can say used its veto power to save this Masood Azhar. This item is pertaining to Indian Ocean. India has said that it is ready to share real-time maritime data with 10 Indian Ocean countries, and it is a responsibility, as well as it is in the interest of everyone, for all the countries that are sharing border with this Indian Ocean, to protect this and protect the security environment of Indian Ocean. Now this is pertaining to Modi's visit to Akshardham, but I would like you guys to focus on this thing here. See, this particular institution, religious institution, has built 1200 temples across the world. So what you can take out from this thing is that how religious institutions, I'm not talking just about this Akshardham or Swami Narayan temple thing, right? I'm not promoting anyone, or I'm not taking anyone's side. What I'm trying to say here is that we in our country, as I told you earlier on, we have many different colors and many different flowers in our garden, isn't it? In the same way, there are different ways of towards God or religion. You can say, it could be Islam, it could be Christianity, it could be Sikhism, Buddhism, right? You could be Parsi, any religion, right? You take Hinduism. The main thing is that if a religious institution are are building temples, mosque, or any other, say for example, Gurudwara and other religious places, right? The place where you can pray. If they are been built in different parts of the world, then it is of course about spreading the culture and tradition of our country. So this will of course build soft power for us. This is the main thing that you can take away. This will increase people to people contact, and people will know about India, and this will help in tourism and other things as well, as you can understand. This is about Myanmar's Aung San Suu Kyi's visit to Rakhine State, and she has said, of course, that quarrels should end as soon as possible. She has also promised that she will take back all these people of Rohingya as far as they are able to produce their validity or valid identity. And here you can see a river Naf. It is important. Remember, it is the river through which they have to. This is the river which they are crossing and reaching Bangladesh. So you may find this river is a bit important in my opinion. Finance Minister is going to have a brainstorming session with the senior members of public sector banks, and this is called Gyan Sangam. They are going to talk about how NPA and other things can be sorted out, all the problems. And India is going to make its first plane. A private company, Reliance, in fact has started JV, joint venture, with Dassault Aviation, and they are going to make components of Rafale. And in near future, that is in 2022, we are going to see a first plane that is completely made in India. We will find this plane in the sky. Now, dear friends, yesterday's question, the answer, as you can see here, Madagascar, then you have Australia, you can take Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and other countries of Asia. Sagarmala, one-liner: refurbishing old ports, increasing their capacity, and building new ports where you can find, or the place where you can see or think that this is going to be beneficial. You build new ports over there. We have skipped 42 positions in last 3 years. And here, dear friends, I have a question for you, descriptive one. Think about it. If you want to know more about it, then you will find a special video lecture on our channel, right? Go through it and then think about it, whether this ease of doing business report itself is enough to create a sort of long-lasting or revive investment climate in our country. And then you have a sort of one-liner here, right? This is UNSCR 1267. What is it all about? With this, dear friends, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share this lecture, do give us a like if you have learned something out of it, pass your valuable comments, as well as I would be eagerly waiting for your answers. Don't forget to check out StudyIQ.com for pen drive and tablet courses. This is Prashant Mavani signing off. I will see you all soon. Enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.